Here's why I say the car loan I took out 4 years ago taught me a very valuable financial lesson, and that is that I will never, ever take out a car loan again. That car cost me to a total of $43,000.
I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again and again and again. It's important for you to enjoy yourself. You're paying a mortgage on your car. I don't care.
This weekend, I had my vehicle appraised. I am wanting to trade it in because now I know that paying $1,100 a month for a vehicle is absolutely insane.
And everybody wants a car.
I don't want to be. I want to spend my life savings on this. I want to abandon all financial responsibility and dump it in here.
Until you're dealing with the horrible repercussions of getting that car.
Here's why I say the car loan I took out 4 years ago taught me a very valuable financial lesson, and that is that I will never, ever take out a car loan again. That car cost me $23,000 back in 2021. I have paid $3,000 in interest in the last 4 years, $9,000 in insurance, $2,400 in registration, and I would save roughly $5,000 in maintenance, which brings me to a total of $43,000 in the last 4 years spent on a car that no longer works, versus if I had bought a car cash for, let's say, $5,000, which I think that's pushing it, I would have spent nothing on interest, roughly around $3,000 in the last 4 years, maybe $400 in registration and tag fees, and I would say around $2,000 in maintenance, a total of $11,000. And more than likely, I am sure it would be guaranteed that that car would still be working, because in my opinion, older cars are much more reliable. And I think that's because they've been around for a while, so owners have already discovered their common issues, their weaknesses, their recalls. It's just much easier to check reviews, reliability reports, or YouTube breakdowns to know what to expect, versus brand new model cars. You're going to be the test subject. If you're planning to take a car loan out, I would sit down and ask yourself if it's actually really worth it, and if you actually really need a $40,000-$50,000 car.
Ooh, she said a word here. And one thing that really stood out to me is she said getting an older car so you ain't out there being the test dummy, the crash dummy, the literal test dummy for the car. And yeah, there are many people who want to buy the newest car. So yes, tests might have been done by the dealer or the corporations, the companies. When it comes to user experience, for the customers, usually we get that data back and we can go on Google and see what's what in the last 3 years of the car being on the road. People actually driving the car. Another thing is cars go through these cycles where maybe like every 3 or 4 years, they might make some major upgrades to that vehicle. But generally speaking, if it's not in that cycle where they're making those major changes, there's really not a big difference between the years that are like 2 years apart. For example, a 2024 and a 2025 might look exactly the same. They might have the same exact features. The only difference is one of them is labeled a 2025 or 2026 or 2027. You see what I mean? So don't get hypnotized because, oh my gosh, it's the newest year of the car. Did they make any changes is what you need to be looking at before you paying all this money for a brand new car. And it makes it even worse if it's a brand new and a not used car, because car depreciation is insane. And I'm on Experian.com, you know, the place where y'all can go check your credit. Hint, hint, please do that. And it says here, how much do cars depreciate per year? And it goes on to say, new cars lose on average 16% in value during the first year and another 12% during the second year. And by the end of year 5, new vehicles have just 45% of their original value. And what does that mean for somebody that might want a cheaper vehicle? Maybe look for a car within the last 5 years. Now, this always isn't the case. Some cars actually hold their value. This is why it's important to look at things like the Kelley Blue Book. It will help you know that. Sometimes there's historical data. Some brands are widely known to hold values for certain cars. Just some things to think about, whether you're shopping for a new vehicle or you're buying a new vehicle. And ask yourself, are you in it for the long haul? Because if you're trying to get trade-in value on a vehicle that doesn't hold its value and is going to depreciate a lot within those first couple of years, you might want to reconsider, especially those of y'all who don't like being in the same car for an extended period of time and you're not going to pay off your car loan. And though I personally don't like the idea of leasing, I can understand why some people do it, because they change cars way too much. However, with leasing, there is no ownership, and you constantly year after year have to cough up dough for a car month after month because it's not your car, which means in the event you're really trying to save some money and cut back on expenses, one expense you can't cut back on is the car notes, because you have a lease and you don't own a car. Just some stuff to consider, y'all. And she says here, see how easily a $20,000 car turned into a $40,000 car. And even if it was in working condition, it would be worth 1/3 of the price. 1/3, y'all. This is real life. This is what's happening to people out here. Somebody here says, wow, the way you put this makes me not want to get a car loan either. And I'll tell you, as somebody that had two, I've only had two in my whole life. When I was free, I ain't look back, and I ain't looking back, ain't gonna look back. I'ma ride my car till the wheels fall off. And for those of y'all who got a paid off car and people looking around like, oh, that's what you pulling up in? Yes. So, and who gonna do something about it? My cup holder is falling in the middle of the dash right now as we speak. And guess who don't care? Me, cause it's mine. That's my broken cup holder in the middle console. I could get it fixed, but we got bigger things to worry about. Like, does the car get me from point A to point B? If the answer is yes, I ain't stressing the rest. Oh, not me on the Dr. Seuss again. Because it's all vanity when we get down to it most of the time. People care about how things look, what other people think. What do you think? How do you feel paying what you have to pay every month? If you feel good about it, then that's okay. But you can see how many people wish they didn't do things like this. But it's too late. And she even said here, I'm telling you, don't do it. Listen to the people who've come before you. Somebody here said, get you a Toyota. And you know what? I have to agree. I've been driving the same car since 2013. Same car. Me and that car done been all over the world, other countries and everything. It ain't never let me down. And it's a Toyota. And I love it. And you wanna know why I got a Toyota? Because I heard they were long-lasting cars. You see, I could have got a different car. But from what I was told, Toyotas last the test of time as long as you keep up with the maintenance for the most part. Now, I can't speak for these newer cars because stuff built different nowadays. But them older ones? If I ever have to get another car, they gonna have to see about me. I'm gonna have to check up on them.
I have a $1,200 car payment, and I would do it again and again and again and again. You're only on this planet once. While it's important you do smart things with your money, it's also important for you to enjoy yourself. You're paying a mortgage on your car. I don't care. I'm interested in cars, and I have a twin-turbo V8. In my 20s. In life, you have to make calculated decisions. It's a give and take, it's a push and pull. So where I may overspend on my car, I underspend in other critical areas of my life. Like I barely buy myself new clothes, don't drink any alcohol, I definitely don't smoke any of that good stuff. So I may be $50,000 in debt, but it's my life.
Okay, now he almost had me. Because I'm like, when people say stuff like, where I'm not doing this, I'm doing this other thing. Like for him, he's putting his money towards a car, right? Okay, but stick with me. Here's why I was gonna say it was okay. It made sense. If you can actually afford the car and you're not paying more than 30% of your income on the car, I don't see nothing wrong with that. And y'all are probably wondering, where am I getting this 30% from? According to the experts, and this is here on nerdwallet.com, in a recent article from January 12, 2026, it says that the financial experts recommend spending no more than 10% of your monthly take-home pay on your car payments and no more than 15 to 20% total on car costs such as gas. Now, if he's doing that, then it makes sense. And again, y'all, I don't know if I just said earlier 30% or if I said 20, but it's 15 to 20 total. And that includes maintenance, gas, repairs, insurance, everything. What's getting me is he said he was like 20 something, right? Or did he say he was 20? The thing is, most people when they're that age, they don't usually have it like that to be spending, and they're usually not spending within those parameters that the experts recommend. So that means you don't have a lot of money left over for other things if that is the case. Like he might be balling at 20, he might be swimming in all the dough. But typically, people that are younger, in their early 20s, what they end up doing is they get a job and most of their money is going to their car. They can't afford to live on their own. All their money is going to their car. Some people are even living in their car. Like I've met people who have lived in their vehicle and you would have never known it. It was a nice car. And them in that car got real comfy because they couldn't afford anything else but the car. No groceries, utilities, a home, an apartment, nothing. Just the car. And that's why that can be dangerous. And yes, you may not be spending all your money in other areas that are also probably not the best if you're trying to be financially responsible. However, that doesn't always make it better. You know, in the end, if you're getting the same result, hopefully for him, that isn't the case. And oh, this is an interesting comment section. So he said here, car payments don't have to be the end all be all. And this comment here says, I don't see what's the issue. If you can afford $1,200 comfortably, nothing wrong with that. People got to realize everybody not broke. Somebody here replied with, if you really had the money, you wouldn't have a $1,200 payment in the first place. That's my mindset. Ooh. And they go on to like hypothetically talk about, well, he could have got a 0% APR, and that definitely could have been the case, and I'm hoping so. But this is the comment here that I find very interesting. It says, bad mindset, locking over 100K liquid into a depreciating asset is stupid. And they go on to essentially say you might be able to put that money elsewhere so it can generate some income. Another comment says, horrible financial decision, not smart. And the creator replies with, how can you say that without knowing the whole picture? And that's a great point. There is nuance to this whole conversation. It might be that $1,200 is 20% or less than what he's bringing in every month. Then what could be said? That's within the range. But I don't know. We don't know. He never mentioned that. He did say he was 50K in debt. And someone said, what else do we need to know? And now y'all posting Dave Ramsey in the comments. We got to give him some grace, y'all. We really don't know how much he's making, which makes all the difference. And that's something that everybody needs to consider when getting a car. How much money do you make? And what are your monthly expenses? That would help you better determine whether you can truly afford the car, not just you saying that your car payment is high, because some of y'all are bringing in the bank.
I can't believe this. So this weekend I had my vehicle appraised. I owe a little over $57,000 and I pay $1,100 a month. When I purchased this vehicle, I paid over like, I don't know, $72,000, $73,000, maybe even $78,000. We put $10,000 down, and at that time I did have it custom built. At that time we were in a different financial state. So that's why I purchased it. And now that I am doing, or we are doing everything we can to get this debt paid off as soon as possible, just to be, a little bit more comfortable, I am wanting to trade it in because now I know that paying $1,100 a month for a vehicle is absolutely insane. So anyways, this weekend I had it appraised because I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and trade it in and at least cut my payments in half. And they appraised it at like $40,000. I almost flipped over. Like, I'm shocked, but I'm not, because I know that things depreciate so quickly. And so now, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm stuck with $1,100 payment. Maybe I'll pay on it a little more at this rate and then eventually refinance it. Maybe I could refinance it now, but I feel like that's just adding another year, and my payments are still going to be like around $800. I don't know. We are actually pre-qualified to purchase a home, which that only is, I think you hold the pre-qualification in Texas for like 60 days. So that's probably fixing to expire anyways. So I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? Should I refinance? I don't know what to do, or am I just stuck?
I think she needed to talk to a financial advisor, and that's not a bad idea for a lot of people. The fact that she paid so much for this vehicle and she still owes $57,000 on it, and it only appraised for $40,000, heartbreaking. This is why so many people feel stuck, because by the time they realize that, hey, that car payment is pretty high and they want to trade it in, it's negative equity. And to make matters worse, she seems like she's in the market for a home. This is the last thing you want to be worrying about, is the fact that you spread yourself a little bit too thin with a car and you're trying to get in a home. This might be pushing it across the board, especially if you do both of them, like in $1,100 car payment and a house. That could be a lot. And somebody here says, I'm paying $975 for mine. I think it's worth it. I got a Toyota premium and I do love her. And she ends up saying, hey, I love my car too, but I should have prioritized a home first. And somebody here said, why would you pay that much for a car? I regret it. Now, what's interesting is the last man you just seen didn't seem to regret it at all. Well, at least right now he doesn't seem to regret it. And the car lovers, they don't mind. They'll go into debt over a car. But at some point, you might want more than just a car. You might want a home. You might want to go on a vacation. You might want to do a whole plethora of things. People grow over time and things change. But when you have all of these responsibilities and high car payments, there are repercussions for your past actions. Somebody here said the quiet part out loud. It's really not quiet. This is the part y'all need to hear. Cars are not an investment. They are a depreciating asset. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. It's okay. And here people are stating the things that the experts are saying, that it shouldn't be more than 20% of your yearly income. See, a lot of y'all aren't calculating this. Going to the car dealer and let them tell you how much the car payment is. And this is, I'm being honest, this is how it's working in real life. You go up there, you're like, oh, I want this car. Y'all start sitting down and talking about the paperwork and how much everything is going to cost. You're like, how much can you get get me in how much is my monthly payment going to be? You see how I said monthly payment? Because I know that's what y'all are thinking about. You're not really thinking about the total cost of the car. That car might cost you $40,000, but as long as they say they can get you in it for $400, for $350, even though they stretched it out like 7 years and your APR is like 20 something percent, you didn't hear none of that. You just heard, oh, it's a low monthly payment. I can afford that low monthly payment. And that might be the case, but a lot of y'all aren't even getting a low monthly payment. You're getting stuck with something like $1,100 for an extended amount of time. And when you even hear that $1,000, you're like, you know what? I can do it right now. I can afford it. I got a job. I got this, I got that. And you're not thinking about things like job loss, you getting sick, you not having any emergency fund. You're not thinking about your other debt that you have to pay. You're not thinking about the future debt that you're going to rack up. You're not thinking about inflation, getting sick, divorce, all of these important things that you should really consider before getting a car. And then you get it, and then your life circumstance changed somehow, which is like what she's saying here. Her life circumstance changed, which happens to many people. And now all of a sudden you're looking at this decision you made and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? And I don't want to see none of that for y'all. This is why we want to show these things so you can learn from it, so you don't go out and do it yourself. It doesn't have to be you.
And so now that we are working on budgeting,
and she even did another video. She did 2 videos, like a follow-up, talking about this horrible financial decision that she said she made.
in 2023, I made a very bad financial decision. I financed something that I wanted. I never thought of the future or depreciation or any of that kind of stuff. And so now that we are working on budgeting and saving money and setting up for retirement and all of that kind of good stuff,
Right.
I decided I'm going to take my car in and trade it in. So I financed $78,000 in 2023. I owe now a little over $57,000, and I took it to trade it in, and they offered me $40,000.
Right.
Now that was at the Ford dealership.
Ford.
I did try Carvana, and I tried AutoNation, and I tried CarMax, and they offered me, actually CarMax offered me $42,000, and all the rest offered me lower than 40. But still, that would leave me upside down like $15,000, and I don't want to carry that negative equity into another vehicle. So we're keeping the car. We're just going to start paying even more than we normally did. So my minimum is $1,054. We usually pay $1,100. I'm going to start paying $1,200, and just in hopes that, you know, it will at least catch us up some, and then revisit it in a year and see where we're at. Let me know what you would do.
I think she shopped around, which was good. She tried to get the best offer she could, which was Carvana. $2,000 extra, but still she's so far in negative equity. It's not really benefiting her to give them the car. And I'm glad that she ended up explaining this. This is what ends up happening to a lot of people. They're trying to figure a way to get rid of the car. They can't like get rid of it. They've shopped around, seen what offer they can get, and realized they're getting lowballed for what they owe, for what they expect. So then they end up saying, dang, I'm gonna just have to accept the financial decision that I made and make extra payments to try to get rid of this car loan, because she wants to save for other things like retirement. Again, this is why I need y'all to have foresight when making these sort of decisions, because things will change in your life. That's how life goes. Life is a journey. You ain't gonna be in the same spot. I hope 5-10 years from now, it's gonna be some transition, some progress. Hopefully, mercy. You're gonna have other dreams and ambitions. So you don't want something like this holding you back. So I honestly think she's on the right track, even though it sucks to have to deal with the consequences of this horrible car loan. And somebody here is saying, what the heck was she thinking? And she ended up responding to a comment that says, $1,100 car payments while renting is wild to me.
You're absolutely right. What was I thinking financing a $78,000 car for 72 months, putting $10,000 down on it and paying $1,100 a month before purchasing a home? You're right. But I have no excuse other than my mindset since I was in my 20s has always been that you have to owe to have, and you just put it on a card. I mean, I can make the payment, so can't we afford it? And so now, since we've started this journey to pay off all of this debt and to right all of my wrongs, now my mindset has totally changed. And so I am looking for every way that I can get out of these very bad decisions.
Right.
One, of course, top of the list is this car. And I'm trying, but my hands are tied. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get out from underneath it. I think I'm going to have to continue to pay on it until we can do something else. I don't know, but y'all are absolutely right. And I come on here and I share our journey. I'm an open book because one, I want to be accountable, and two, I want to help people not make the same horrible financial decisions that I made for so long. And so now I'm doing everything I can to work on my financial mindset, my money mindset, and do better for myself and for our family, for our future goals.
And you know what? I don't got nothing but respect for it. Nothing but respect, because nobody is walking through life with all the answers. And if you found somebody that has all the answers, send them my way, because I got some questions. Accountability is such an important part of growth, and that is why I wanted to let that play all the way, because very rarely do you hear people say, yeah, you're right, that was wrong, I shouldn't have did that. And I'm trying to hold myself accountable to what I did. And instead of her making excuses about it and trying to justify it, which she could have, she is doing the work. She's going to have to go through the fire. There is no way through what issue she created besides going through it, unless you files bankruptcy or something like that. That would be another way. But you're still gonna have to go through it. It's gonna come some heartache, some sort of pain. And that just lets you know how big of a deal it was that she is over here trying to figure out all the different things she can do, exploring all her options, just to be like, I just have to, this is gonna suck. I gotta go through that. I'm gonna have to eat that one. So I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for everybody that's trying to get out of situations like this. And I'm hoping these videos help y'all not to become these people. The writing is on the wall. They're telling you what's gonna happen.
Take it from someone who bought a brand new car at 19 years old, which cost me $40,000 that I was able to very fortunately pay off in under 2 years.
Wow.
Don't make the same mistake I made. I don't regret purchasing the car. It's this car that I'm sitting in. I love this car to bits. It's so chic, so clean. I just love the aesthetics of it, and it's everything that I've wanted. But to now sit here and know that there's so many other things I could have done with $40,000. If I could go back and do it again, I would have honestly just gone for a car that was maximum $15,000 and just called it a day. And that extra money, I would have used that to invest in my stocks, or invest in property maybe, or just invest in something else, because being 19 and having a $40,000 car
and come through skin, first off, because she is glowing. And also she said she paid that off in 2 years. That's amazing. In your teen years to do? Yes. But again, we have that reflection of that $40,000 was a lot. That was a lot of money. Yeah, and I agree. And you can love your car all you want, but sometimes when you think back and you're sitting in that car later, that's paid off, it don't hit like it used to. When you first got the car, you're all about it, you love it, it's a must have, you gotta have it, you're not leaving the car lot without it. And I'm telling you, a few years later, you'll be sitting in that same car like I was doing all of that, and I'll take me a used $10,000 car now. Ain't that crazy how that works? But again, you go through life and you're just like, man, I would have rather did something else, because again, you're growing, you're wanting more for yourself. So naturally, you're gonna be like, dang, I spent this large chunk of money in my youth on a car. What else could I have done instead of do that? And somebody here says, if you can afford to pay it off monthly without hurting your pockets, do it. A car loan or a nice car is a luxury, so don't compare it to a mortgage or stocks. Please buy the car and enjoy it, people. I'm a little confused, because how I interpreted it was, if you can afford to pay it off, cash, do that. So then you don't have a car loan. That's just me. Someone here says, at least the car is brand new with zero problems. If you're buying a second-hand car, who knows what you're buying into? Well, y'all can check the Carfax. Carfax exists for a reason. You can check the accident history. A lot of the time they have the maintenance records. A lot of people take their vehicles to the dealer. They have the maintenance records at the dealer. Now, if you just want to act like none of this stuff is in a database, then okay, but that's not true. A lot of times you can know or have a better idea of what you're getting into by checking the historical data that is available to you. So just utilize that. And maybe this person doesn't know that that is an option, which is okay. Someone here says, hey, if you make $40K a year, don't buy a $40K car. Geez, didn't think that was something that needed to be said. Mercy, tough crowd. Because what am I looking at? What is this? Y'all don't give nobody no grace. God, sheesh. The girl grew from it. Mercy. And somebody here said, nobody ever tells you how much it actually costs. All up when getting a car loan? And then she replies with, I almost fainted calculating how much interest I paid. $40K was just the car, not considering the interest. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's going to be a lot more than that sticker price or that amount that you're like, oh, I got a car for $40,000. No. What is your interest rate? And maybe hers wasn't too bad. But if you in the teens, them high teens, in them 20s, and that car is expensive, I'm telling you, you gonna feel it for years until you get rid of that car loan. You might pay 2 to 3 times what that car is worth. And nobody's gonna sit here and baby nobody about the contract or what you're signing. Because again, if you are blinded by the monthly payment and you're not considering that, you think the car dealer is gonna tell you, wait, we need to break it down to you and tell you how much it's gonna cost overall for 6 years if you're just making the minimum monthly payment. No, they're not. They're trying to get their commission. Y'all gotta start treating people like they are what they are. That's a car salesman. They're there to sell to you. Your job to yourself and your responsibility to yourself is to do the research the best you can and understand this, because their job is to sell you a car. They're not an educator. Like, they might walk you through some of the stuff, but most of the time they gonna slap that contract right in front of you and say, oh, so you feel good about this? You know, I'll give you some time to read everything and blah, blah, blah. If y'all knew you was getting got like you getting got, do you think you would sign on the dotted line? No, that's why they give y'all this long stack of papers that you ain't gonna read. All you cared about was the monthly payment. Now you got it, and now you're like, wait a minute. You ain't tell me all this. Cause they don't love you. They love that commission. I'm just being honest with you.
A lot of you guys are asking why my car payment is $1,000 a month, and here's why. So I told you guys I got my first car when I was a senior. It was the car of that year. I had a backup camera, I had a push start, everything, right?
Okay.
9 months later, I crashed it and I totaled it, and my parents had already almost paid it off. So then they pulled me out another car, the same one, but I had to pay it. So I started paying it. I was giving payments and I was almost done. I had less than 10,000, right? I always kept up with the maintenance, everything. And I don't know why, but there was so many recalls on this car to the point where it almost left me on the freeway a couple times, okay?
Whoa.
By this time, I already had my son. He was a baby at that time. And it got to the point where it wasn't even safe for us to be driving in that car. Not even on the freeway, not anywhere. So my mom was like, it was time to upgrade. So I was like, all right, bet. So then I went in, and at that time, it was 2021. I got a 2021 Acura ILX, super nice, brand new, nice interior, everything, right? Never really gave me problems. And I got married. We have 3 kids now. Fast forward to now. And we just didn't fit in that little car anymore. We needed a SUV, like a mom car. So I traded in this car, my car, for this car. And I'm actually carrying $10,000 of negative equity from my very first car. But I had no choice. Like, at that point, it was not safe to drive that car. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to swallow it and take the L. So that's why my car payment is so high, but it's totally worth it for me because yes, I have my mom car and we have our room. And look at this car seat. Look at how big it is. It takes up a lot of space because it turns. And my kids are comfortable. We have the stroller in the back. So to me, yes, it's $1,000, but it's our safety and we have the room that we need. And I love my car.
And I fear a lot of y'all won't like what I'm about to say, but it never had to be $1,000 for that car payment for her to have a safe, reliable vehicle. This was a choice, which I respect everybody's choice to do whatever they want to do. You know, she ain't worried about the $1,000 car payment. Then who are we? You know, who are we? Because she didn't seem fazed by it. She just was like, hey, you know, I got this $1,000 car payment. It is what it is. My kids got space. The ones that get me are the ones that come on and they're like, oh my gosh, this car payment's so high, blah, 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 everything's so high, I can't afford nothing, blah, blah. Like, if you can comfortably pay $1,000 car payment with no issues, no headaches, I'm glad. That means y'all are doing well, honestly. Everybody is not broke. That is the truth. We don't know her life. Would I pay $1,000? Absolutely not. But I will say this. This was not a necessity. Like, did it have to be brand new? And I'm not going to sit here and feed into any of the propaganda that a lot of people say online, like needing a brand new mom car. Absolutely not. Nothing wrong with used cars. There are other options is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes the newer moms end up justifying getting new cars. It's like if they're add a baby, add a car, and then get all the fixings and stuff that you like, and nothing wrong with that. But I want to speak to the people who might be easily influenced by people online doing things like this. Maybe you're a new parent and you're like, hey, all these other people are getting mom cars and they're brand new and blah, blah. So why can't I should be able to do that too. And it's like, just do what you can afford. You don't know this lady. She might be swimming in the dough. It's just the truth. And ain't nothing wrong with getting something off Facebook Market, going to the auction, figuring out something that works better for you. And this might work well for her. But we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.